And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rafael Chacín, as known as El Capitán Rafucho, and welcome to the adventure. And right now, let's go to another episode of Let 'Em Speak, which is a show talking about sports and entertainment, certain topics, opinion, and interviews with most incredible guests right here on the planet. So right now on this episode, I had an amazing guest, a super Philadelphia sports fan who became like very, very important on the Philadelphia sports. And right now, not only he's contributed as being like the spark of the social media, not only on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, he's everywhere. And he loves to be like one of the most passionate Philadelphia sports ever on the planet, on the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had the privilege to introduce to you the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Philly sports guy. Welcome to the Let 'Em Speak. Welcome, and how you feel about it? So we can talk about the Philadelphia sports. So there you go.
I appreciate it, Ralph. Thank you very much. I am honored to be here. I've known you forever. I'm glad to see you start your own podcast.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So right now, let's get started for the first topic. And I know that the baseball season is coming at hot. And right now, it is about the 2024 Major League Baseball with the Philadelphia Phillies. And for this moment, we just had the regular schedule, which the first one is going to be incredible against it because right now the internet is good. All right, so it's going to be the Phillies home opener versus Atlanta Braves. It's going to be the opening day. So right now, it is kind of an opportunity to the Phillies to go for the offense, to the defense. I mean, it could have happened like on this one, more added to expectations. I mean, the update comes for the 2024 season. So it's going to happen to fully announce for the dates on the right here. So there's going to be like a really important because over the last season, Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, both up to performer, the paradigm last season and could have pitched 1-2 in baseball that season. But Christopher Sanchez says great performance and become a different match himself. And Schwarber is one of my trick pony who's turns out at least 200 times in the past 2 seasons. Brandon March, Brandon Scott, Nick Castellanos are also overperforming the Paranos last season. I mean, it will age to the catching up because until then, they are like the World Series contenders, despite not being able to finish the job yet, because the expectations is going to be like in another trip. Whether the expectations are very high, it's gonna be hard to see them because if we're gonna do it, it's gonna be like a top five pitching staff in the league and already proven a lineup not getting called for the postseason like this year. So what about the expectations about for the 2024 Philadelphia Phillies? So right now, after the football season, which is the NFL, now let's get back to the baseball season, which is the classical, the spring training, and of course for the 2024 regular season for the Major League Baseball. So how do you feel about the expectations about the Philadelphia Phillies and about the 2024 season?
I think that they are, likely to go back to the World Series. Short of them having, obviously last year they weren't able to get past Arizona and having a 3-2 lead going into Game 6 and Game 7 at home and losing both of them at home was a pretty big loss for them. They got cold at the wrong time, and this team is meant to win games like 7-4, 7-5. And if they don't score the runs, they're not going to win the games. And that's kind of what happened at the end of last season. So I feel that them being able to start this season off right. Obviously, we have Harper, who's going to be able to start the season and not be on injured reserve. We have Turner, who turned it on at the midway point really last year, but struggled at the beginning of the season. And a couple of other pieces. Obviously, we got our pitching staff back. Ranger Suarez wasn't here in the beginning of the season. He also came in a little bit later, so he'll be here at the start of the season. I feel that uh, that we're going to be prime and ready to get back to the World Series, and it's World Series or bust as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's exactly because what would happen is Wheeler or Nola gets hurt. I mean, we'll all get all set for the 2023 self. I mean, what about if the Philly Dallas sort of offensive prospects are already and they want over the bench then significant playing time outside of Merrifield where they had to continue to decimate already they have the poor farm system and not real trains. I mean, look at it happen. I mean, for the offense, what would happen if Bryce Harper looked like first base? People that just assume like it'd be ready coming off of the opening day, but in baseball you should never assume it because that was like a Harper did last year, placing there for the last complete 300 innings. Every category decision, all of the clues was dead last. There's like undeniable risk to having someone learn to the first position at the pores. But I think it's gonna be like a slight improvement rate to the last year. But I think the full season of Harper and career average Trey Turner is massive upgrades. They're gonna fully unexpected to Kim provided. I mean, it's gonna be like pretty thought to exceed expectations when expectation they're gonna make it to the World Series. It's just gonna make it happen to prove that anything can happen at this point. I mean, the expectations that are taken out of the chances. I mean, if we're like at a big step for the regular season and win 95 games, it's gonna be like a 90 last year. But assuming Trey Turner is going back to the will always not spend it April, August with the head and that combined with the healthy Harper. Yeah, they shouldn't improve. It should improve it about the regular season performance. It's just they're just like the model of just making like the players and making most of it.
Yeah, I feel that they really do have all the pieces in place. I obviously you can't help injuries, and injuries are going to happen. It was just like last year, Reese Hoskins get hurt right first week of training camp, and ultimately that put us back a little bit because Harper was already out. We lost our first baseman. It became okay. Who's going to play first base? There was Bohm a little bit. That we wound up having a couple of other pieces that wound up just going to first base until Harper actually was able to take over the role full time. I think this year is going to be a little different. Like I said, we got a lot of the pieces back in place. They got a little bit better bullpen as well. So I kind of feel that they are going to win more games in the beginning of the season so that you don't have to worry about it at the end of the season where I think it was within the last week and a half, 2 weeks when we finally made the playoffs. We were the number one wild card. I think that there's going to be more of a chance for us to possibly win the division and take a little bit of a break without having to do those wild card games and get ourselves ready to go for that playoff push and maybe get ourselves over the hump and finally win a World Series, our first since 2008.
Yeah, that's exactly. Also, let's give a shout out to the persons right here in the chat right here. So let's see, JT Cole is in the building. Also, David Corona is in the building. I think I just wanted to tell you, David Corona, congratulations. Also, as a Cazador. Also, we just see Daniel Berry Sports Highlight, Butterfly. Wow, there's a lot of incredible stuff in going for the chat. So right now, let's move on because right now we just finished about for the Phillies. Right now, let's move on for the basketball. And after the NBA All-Star Game, which is in Indianapolis, in Indy, so far, so right now, we're just getting by for the Philadelphia Caesars. So right now, let's see what important to say. Before the trade line, the guard that was Maxey, Belton, Pat Bev, and after deadline they just had Maxey, Body, Melton, Cal Lowry, Payne. I mean, it is gonna back to the worrying about the front court. It's coming back. I mean, this should be like at a very healthy and not to slip on it because it's not gonna be like a sadly season that if me can be healthy and ready in shape for the playoffs. So they're gonna find out how the show is because they're hoping they're gonna change it about for the this year. I mean, can we at least have to go for the healthy Batum? I think absolutely because these are the defense you can make like every exactly, but there's no one who can defend it a career long to take a lot of competitively to everything the better. I mean, that's gonna happen for the Philadelphia Caesars because it's gonna happen like in this one because after the break of the NBA All Star Game, it just realized that they're gonna play fewer games and no injuries. I mean, it really shocked like everything is gonna be the easiest economic this time because I'm very interested because it also had a well done level cloak at the first post game out of the middle right there because it just tell me that about it because it's gonna happen like between for the defense and the offense. I mean it also at the front page because it's not about the overrated, it's not about for the underrated. It's all about for the new coming stars, for the rookies, also for the veterans. I mean, after they just have been eliminated, it's gonna get to somebody that has to go to the tournament. Because right now they had to stay to the focus on about for the defense and the offense. So right now the question is the Philadelphia Caesars right here after the NBA All-Star game break. So they're gonna steal to building out for the defense along with Tari Maxey, also for the coming back for Kyle Lowry.
Well, I listen. It's. I think they're going to go as far. We need Embiid back. Obviously, they're not going to go very far without Embiid, and Embiid is where their defense really begins. And as you saw in the All Star game, there's no defense being played at all. 125 points is the average scoring right now in the NBA. So if you play a little bit of defense, you're going to win a lot of games. And without Embiid, and that's our biggest, obviously he's our biggest defender. Kyle Lowry is going to help, and be able to put more points on the board. But we're going to go as far as Embiid's going to be able to take us. There's hopes that he will be back here late March, early April, and just play a few games. I hope he can get as much rest as possible, come back for that final push, and get us over the hump. He's going to be well rested, and he should be raring to go for the playoffs. He's always been a little tired going into the playoffs and a little beat up. I'm hoping this time around we can actually get those wins
Mm-hmm.
and get over the hump and actually get out of the second round and maybe even go to the finals.
Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, this is gonna happen in between for the defense and the offense. I mean, these are how to defend the consensus like in this one because right now between what are the post to the Calori because right now it's getting back to home. I mean, if getting killed healthy, if it'll achieve like a playoff run for the first time, it feels like they had just like a call coming home because if gonna put in off for the defense, I mean, if that's where they're coming back, if they have that shortest surgery, if they're gonna play it, they gotta repair. I mean, after that, we just see like a Paul Reed with a massive performance against for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, he outplayed Jovic. I mean, he outplayed Jovic. I mean, it just happened because the team was just that tired on to the end. I mean, there's 2 minutes for the bench players for that team, because I think it's gonna be possible. It's gonna be like in the history of the Caesars because Maxey did it on 2021, and a bunch of players said it's pretty weird. But I guess that the Paul that knows he work his butt off against the reigning champs. I mean, It's not easy to do about it, but I think the Paul Reed is gonna be like one of the breakout stars. But if it comes to the defense and the offense, and I mean, they will love to see like a mid for the offense for really looking for Boris thing. Switching over the back of the defense, it could have slide for the fade up off of the minutes. But what they happened out with that performance, they had 10% of the time with him, then 55% for the time with a tons of quick fouls and some make mistakes. But I like that this high energy bench player, but everything's gonna be capable of what is due on a regular basis. It's getting out of the mind.
Yeah, I like I said, I love B-ball Paul. I think that he is able to do something. Obviously, Nick Nurse is going to be the coach who's got to be able to use the assets that he does have. Having we like I said, we do. You're right. We do have a good front court, especially now with Kyle Lowry and Maxi, who's starting to become a star. We still have Tobias Harris, who's able to do things on the backside here. I just don't know that B-ball Paul is going to be enough to be able to get us over the hump, especially against teams like the Bucks or the Celtics. So it's going to be a really tough challenge without Embiid. But hopefully he can come back and make the difference. It would really be without him, I don't think we go far in the playoffs. I don't think that the team is strong enough. We'd absolutely need Embiid. But with Embiid, it's possible we can make it all the way to the finals.
That's right. Because right now, after the NBA All Star Game break, I mean, this is gonna be like a really excited to see how the Philadelphia Sixers are getting back at a position because right now they're in the fifth position of the Eastern Conference, along with the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Milwaukee Bucks. Also, they're just getting ahead to the New York Knicks. I mean, and before that, because right now the sort of perimeter of the games, because right now they had the Knicks versus Philadelphia Caesars. I mean, that's gonna be like an extraordinary game whether it comes to Tyrese Maxey versus Jalen Bronson. I mean, whether it comes to it's gonna be like a great performance for the team for the defense and the offense. I mean, both teams had a massive rivalry. But then again, we're just seeing of like a Philadelphia versus New York Knicks. I mean, they just put in like a lot of great job on the defense and the offense. But I think it's gonna be like another breakout moment for Tyrese Maxey because if you see look at all the performance of Tyrese Maxey, he's going head to it, and it's gonna the top of the five of the positions. It is gonna be like wow, this is gonna be like really excited. I mean, if they got something like Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, Batum, Melton, I mean Morris, I mean those are the positions that we're looking for the Philadelphia Caesars. And you gotta be careful if you're gonna make it to the players because they just eliminated to the play-in tournament. Right now, they got to stay focused for the NBA playoffs, and they got to put a lot of heart and soul for the defense and the offense. So it's gonna be like a shocking surprise, but who knows about it? Because if they got a great talent, they got to put it out together for the NBA playoffs. Completely here.
Right. Right, and like I said, without Embiid, it's going to be really tough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's just I think it's going to be too monumental of a task against the teams that are out there. The teams in the East are good, and yeah, like I said, you're right. The Knicks are catching up. Cleveland's actually got a good team. The Bucks are still perennial teams that are going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Same thing with the Celtics. So the Sixers have always uh, not gotten over that hump in the second round, and they're going to need Embiid. They're going to need everybody, all hands on deck, to really be able to do that. Kyle Lowry and Maxi and Tobias Harris isn't going to be enough. That's just not enough firepower.
That's right, because right now they got to the top of the position. So right now, let's just move on to another topic right here. So right now we're just talking about for the Phillies for the baseball, the Caesars at the basketball. So right now, after the Super Bowl and after the NFL season is ending, right now let's get into the off season for the NFL. So let's just talk about for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I really think that the Philadelphia Eagles, they're just kind of like a great talent, great defense. But after the Super Bowl 2023, they just like losing against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they just have it like kind of like disappointing right here. But it seems that the Philadelphia Eagles they're just back on the track right here for this coming for the upcoming season. And right now it's kind of like it because right now they had free agency got out the flourish on another team right here. So I think the defense and the offense couldn't make it like another big splash now for the 2024 2025 season. And I think it's gonna be like a lot of change because after it just got eliminated, I mean, there's still pieces in the go for this one. And do you really think that the Philadelphia Eagles are gonna be back on the track again, along with the quarterback Jalen Hurts? So I heard it about for the news that about it. So there's a ex NFL quarterback. They said about the Jalen Hurts is the most overrated quarterback on the all time. So I don't think it's gonna happen on this one. So how do you think about the Philadelphia Eagles can build that together with the defense, Jason Kills, and Jalen Hurts shutting down for the haters for the next season?
Well, I first off, I will say Jason Kelsey is going to be back. I believe that he was going to always going to come back. I didn't think that he was completely done and ready to retire. As far as Chris Sims doing any bit of talking whatsoever, of course, nobody remembers him being a quarterback because he sucked as a quarterback and he sucks as an analyst either. Oh, he's the most overrated quarterback. Yeah, there's a lot of other overrated quarterbacks I could tell. And you know what? Chris Sims couldn't even make it as a quarterback because he couldn't even remember the plays. So anybody who has something to talk about it like that, I don't really listen to because he's got no sense anyways. The reason why they pay him to be on television is because of his dad, who was actually won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. His son couldn't even make it on a football team because he sucks so bad. So I don't really care what he had to say. He could say whatever he wants to. Nobody's listening anyways. So for him to say something like that, hey, listen, Jalen Hurts was 10-1 before we had a big drop. And I understand maybe we dropped out this year. When you lose 6 of your last 7 games, it doesn't end well. The season does not end well. So I feel that the one thing that he is good at is he likes to get back to work. He's going to be able to fix some of his problems. I feel that Jalen Hurts, I actually believe and firmly believe we will be back in the Super Bowl next year. I don't care about the 49ers. I don't care about the Dallas Cowboys. I think that Green Bay is going to make a step. I think Detroit's going to make a step. But I think that we are better than them. And what's going to happen in the grand scheme of things is that you're going to see the Eagles up against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl upcoming this year.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, I just heard about for the comment to say, oh, Jalen Hurts is overrated, but I don't believe that because he just busts his butt right here. Because if you just see like an album performance at the Super Bowl against for the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, he just put a lot of good heart, soul, and of course, a lot of sweat, but because he just building up together. I mean, Jalen Hurts for me is just like one of the most important things as a quarterback because that was like the most difficult position with the working out for the NFL. And I know the last year between for the Super Bowl between Kansas City Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles, it's just like a battle of brothers between Jason Kills versus Travis Kills. And I know this is not gonna be like it because I know the Super Bowl is gonna be like the next year in New Orleans. So I think it's gonna be like a rebuilding up together for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I know you guys had a lot of rivalries between for 3 teams the Washington Commanders. Also, they just got the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants. I mean, there's a lot of the difficult had to go for the change a lot for the defense, the coaching, and of course for the offense for doing that the conference because building up together between imagine like in a room between Philadelphia Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and Commanders is gonna be like an epic battle because I know that I'm a Raider fan, and we used to like the rivalry between Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers, and Denver Broncos. So if the people that want to tell it about Jalen Hurts is getting operated, that's not right because if you need to see like the performance, the stats that he performed over the last year, and of course, if you see like everything that he put on the Super Bowl against Kansas City Chiefs, he became like one of the most important stars at the generation because right now, Jalen Hurts, he was like one of the biggest stars in that season. And I know he's eliminated, but right now the Philadelphia Eagles, they just brought a lot of great defense over the last year against the Kansas City Chiefs. And they just wanted to know because, oh, this is going to be like an easy cupcake. But I think it's going to be like a hard work. And of course, they just see like they're just watch their film because it's just like what to feel about it. What's the weakness? What's going to be like a beating out? So they just put a lot of effort and work, a lot of sweat, blood, sweat, and tears about for the team. And I know we just got for the Raiders, we just got Antonio Pierce, and we just got a lot of rivalry. But if we need the conference between the Eagles, Giants, Dallas Cowboys, and Washington Commanders, they just can't like it up very epic because it's all about for the defense, the coaching, and of course the mentality. And I mean that Nick Sirianni between Jalen Hurts, Jason Kills, and of all of the defense, they're gonna have a redemption because after they just got eliminated, I think the next season is gonna be like a great redemption after they just lost for the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona.
Well, and I agree that obviously they have more to prove. That this year didn't end the way they wanted it to. Having two new uh, offensive defensive coordinators made things a little bit difficult. We're going to have two new ones again this year. However, with Vic Fangio, I feel that it's been his defense that we have been running up, running all this time, except it wasn't him running it. It was a couple of the guys that have been under him. So now we have the original guy who did this defense. And as far as the offensive coordinator with Kellen Moore, I mean, obviously, he was a Cowboy beforehand. There has been some question marks, especially from Cowboys fans, on whether this is a good choice for the Eagles or not. I'm willing to give him a shot. He was the one thing he's been able to do. He's been able to score points. He's been able to run a good offense. And the last time we got an offensive coordinator from the Chargers, we've gone to the Super Bowl. So hopefully, history will repeat itself in this regard as well, and that every all the right pieces will be put in place. That being said, like I said, Jason Kelsey's going to be back. Brandon Graham's going to be back on defense. I think we need a couple of pieces on the draft. Obviously, we need to be able to make sure that we shore up the defense better than we did last year because we gave up way too many points last year. At the last 6 out of the 7 games, there were a lot of bad. There was like 4 or 5 games we should have won and gave it up at the end. So we can't do that this year. We have to win those games. And I suspect that we're going to, and that we will be back where we're supposed to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Exactly, exactly. And I love it, opinion. So right now, the last question before we're wrapping up about for the special episode of Let Them Speak. And I just saw you on the social media and different TV like ESPN, Fox Sports. I mean, you became one of the most incredible die-hard fans of the Philadelphia sports. What I just saw like at a Phillies game, Sixers game, like Eagles game, a soccer game, the Philadelphia Union, the Phillies sports guy is right there because he just wanted to like to support all the Philadelphia sports team. And look at that with the dome right there because he just looked like very passionate because those fans they just like very passionate about for the teams. And I just love that some greatest fans they just look like they wanted to support for the sport since the first time that they fell in love with them. I mean, this is gonna be incredible. I mean, there are some fans right here from the some diehards, like for example, Sneaky G-Man, who lives in Texas. He's a diehard fan for the New York Giants. Captain Jack, also he's a diehard fan for the Las Vegas Raiders for through all the history. But I know for the seeing you on the social media supporting all the Philadelphia because I just see like he was portraying the essence, also the passion about for all these fans of these sports all around the world. And I just see like the perfect example of a sports fan. So I got a question for you. So how did you become like one of the most passionate fans all around the country because you just support all the Philadelphia sports, including the Phillies, the Caesars, the Eagles. You became like one of the most passionate fans of our generation, and you didn't stop because you just made like a great spark on the social media. You just went out to talking about for who's gonna be like a who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. Also to give like any thoughts about for the game. I mean, man, what can I tell you about it? You became like one of the most incredible fans. So how do you feel like it'll be like one of the most incredible fans? I know that you've been passionate for the Philadelphia sports all around the country.
You know, it's it's obviously I am a fan, but all I am is I'm just the same fan as everybody else. I wear different makeup, and the makeup is kind of what gets the attention, obviously, and it's not, and but I'm also as passionate as I am, I'm also respectful. And Philadelphia fans don't always get the best coverage from the media. The media always likes to say, "Oh, Phillies fans are terrible. They don't know how to really cheer. That they beat people up and all this other stuff." And it's not really true. And I've tried to do whatever I can to show that Philadelphia fans, although we are very passionate and we are hardworking and we stand behind our teams, we are also we are also just like everybody else. We aren't better than anybody else, which is kind of what I feel like the media tries to portray us as, that we are these bullies of all these other fan bases. I want to let people know that we are human beings as well, that we can root on our teams, but we can also be respectful in most cases. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's a couple of bad eggs in every fan base. I mean, Raiders fans know this pretty well because Raiders fans are always looked at as a very challenged fan base to go to their games for and such. But I love the Raiders fan base. I love their passion. And that's kind of what draws me to them. That's why they love me. When I go to their games, I'll yell and scream and carry on. And they all want to take pictures with me afterwards just because I am one of them. Because I understand that it's just a game and it doesn't matter how I yell and how much fandom I have, it's still all on the field. Once the field is over, I want to go have a beer and enjoy the fact that we got to share a game together with the fans rather than have to yell and scream. These teams are not my mother. I don't have to defend their honor. I just get to enjoy being a fan and enjoy spending that time with other fans as well. And that's why I think the camera likes to find me, because I am sharing that time with other fans. When I'm in Kansas City, I'm around Kansas City fans. When I'm in Las Vegas, I'm around Raiders fans. When I go to different games, I'm usually with the opposing fan base because we banter back and forth. We can yell at each other and have a good time, but it's still all in fun and it's not anything that's going to be contentious. And ultimately, that's what sports is about, bringing us all together. If we all like the same team, we'd have nothing to talk about. So it's better to have the fun and the banter and do everything. And I think that's why the camera likes to find me. And that's why you know, every time I'm at a game, you see me on TV because I'm with the other fan base, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, even though that I'm a Raider fan, I'm respectful. Also, I just support for the other fans for for that team because it just learned me how to do. Because since I was live right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, since 2018, I did nothing about for the American football. So since then, since the pandemic hit, I started to learn about the for the NFL and of course for the fan base. And I know that I just saw for the Philadelphia sports and they just told her to be a lousy, but the Philadelphia sports fans are very like very respectful, very kind, and of course they're very passionate because they just bring joy at the game because no matter if they win or if they lose, I mean they're just being respectful. They're not like a trash talker because even though that I just learned about for the sports fans, I mean it's hard to be like explain about it. It's it's kind of like hard to explain about for the sports fan because a sports fan needs to be like respect, also the loyalty for the team, and they must respect above all the traditions around for the country for the sports. And I really fun having the goal and right now as a part of the Raider Nation, I love to hanging out with some like a great fans and to just see like at how we involved for the nation right here. And I mean the whole fan base. I mean, they just going off around the world because no matter if you speak another language, no matter if you're another color, no matter if you had a special condition, they all human beings. And that's what they're talking about for the sports fan base. It's all about loyalty, it's all about respect, and keep it off of the tradition. All those years of the sports entertainment, all the sports country. I mean, especially when it comes to living in Philadelphia, you cannot you cannot disagree with all these Philadelphia sports fans because even some people are just being like are being lousy. But imagine on this because all these Philadelphia sports fans they're being like very respectful, very loyal, and of course they have a great time. But when it comes to like a Sixers, Philadelphia Eagles, the Phillies, I mean, this is kind of like having more time, more fun, and of course having like a very passionate for the heart. Because if you grew up like watching all these Philadelphia sports, that means it's stuck in your DNA, it's stuck in your heart because it represents that you always have to go for the mentality.
Right, and that's kind of that's what I like to portray. I that hey, listen, we are hardworking and we are very passionate people, but even still, we are human beings and we are just fans, and that's why I'm always doing everything I can to show that there's more to the Philadelphia fan than just yelling and screaming and carrying on. It's not always like the what the media says it is.
Yes, it is. And right now, let's just finish about for the Let Them Speak right now. So it's been like an amazing episode of Let Them Speak, which is so basically a show with about sports and entertainment topics, interviews with some amazing guests. So the Philly Sports guys, where can we see you on the social media? And of course, we can see about your content because right now you're doing like a sports daily show at the afternoon at 12 o'clock. So where can we find you to see every time for the content about for the passionate Philadelphia sports content? So where can we find you on the
So
social?
you can find me every day on Facebook from 12 to 2 on my show Coast to Coast, where I do it with a Dallas Cowboy and a Seattle Seahawks fan. And then I go to games. I go to about 4 or 5 games a week. You'll be able to find me on any social media. Just look up the Philly Sports Guy, and there I am. I'm usually in different colors. Right now, I'm not painted up, but I'm always in different colors and you always get to see me yelling at the camera and saying that my team's going to win. And most of the time, we do.
All right, so there you go. You can follow him on Twitter, Instagram, also on YouTube. You see where the content right here. And my name is Rafael Chacín, as known as Capitán Rafucho. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Capitán Rafucho, also on YouTube. And thank you very much because I'm almost close to 1K subscribers. So right now I have more than 850 subscribers. So right now I'm on way ahead to the 1K subscribers. So hit the like button, subscribe to Rafael Chessin. It has been like an amazing episode of Let Him Speak with an amazing special guest, a special diehard fan for the Philadelphia sports, the Philly sports guy. Check him out for those videos and check him out for the content right here. So it's been like an amazing episode of Let Him Speak with Rafael Chacín, as known as El Capitán Rafucho. I will see you there at the next episode, at the next corner. Salute to you and have a good night.